Rouses.com.
Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days.
They're giving me a choice. I don't have to leave for the day, and they're strictly going to play Happy Days reruns for the next 2 hours. They're telling me I can play Ralph Mouth or Potsy. I get to choose either Ralph Mouth or Potsy. It's kind of a tough call. I think I'm turning them down.
It can't be wrong.
Instead, I'll bring in number 9, Drew Brees. That's right. No Potsy, no Ralph Mouth. Number 9, Mr. 2-Minute Drill, Drew Brees from La Jolla, California, with the intro. What's happening in New Orleans? Fantasy Friday edition of the program. 98 degrees, feels like 103. Wow. I think we're just going to make that weather every day, brought to you by River City's Total Maintenance. You need air conditioning help? NOLAAC.com is where you can find them. 98 degrees, 44% humidity. Feels like 103 to like 110, something like that. Tomorrow, Sunday, the weekend, we wake up to the low 80s, mid 80s. 99, the high tomorrow. 98, the high on Sunday. Right now, 98 degrees feels like anywhere from 103 to $110. Humidity's low, the only thing bailing us out. I think the humidity's low. It doesn't start off low in the morning. The heat's so hot it burns up all the humidity. Next Wednesday through next weekend, meteorologist Corey Johnson, kind of like Dr. Morton, P.J. Morton, the preacher's wife. She's a doctor from an unaccredited university. So am I. I'm a meteorologist now. Next Wednesday through next weekend, it's just unaccredited, all right? Highs around 100 on that thermometer thing. That little glass tube with the red juice inside. Next Wednesday, I shouldn't say red juice. That's mercury. That'll kill you. And it's not red, it's silver. Next Wednesday, highs around 100 degrees through the weekend. So we started this about a month ago with like a 4 or 5 day run of 97, 98, 99, 100 type crap. Now we've had it for like 2 weeks straight. And we got like, I don't know, a little lull the last couple of days after 2 weeks straight, sort of our normal summer. Now we're back into it. We'll get a little lull maybe Monday and Tuesday, and then kaboom goes the dynamite. Right back into these high 90s, 100 gimmick. Never seen temperatures this hot over a summertime in New Orleans in my life. I am 5 decades plus in New Orleans. I don't think if you added up all the 97, 98, 99 degree temperatures of my lifetime, they add up to what we've experienced this summer. Coupled with the single driest summer I've ever experienced in my lifetime in New Orleans. So the hottest summer, the driest summer. Wow. Antiperspirant deodorant. Can you say it with me? Hottest summer, driest summer. Wow. Corey Johnson with you on a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Coming up in a few minutes, a chock-full segment you don't want to miss. Why waste your time listening to hours and hours of sports talk? Couple of guys, trio of guys regurgitating the same stuff over and over again. And then after 45 minutes, you realize that dude's getting cut. That guy doesn't even play, much less participate. Is he on the team? This time of year, it's kind of funny. Sort of just 50% of it is like you're almost like the marketing arm for the team when you cover these teams. And the other 50% is you're sort of perpetuating their BS, their nonsense. What are they supposed to say? We're going to suck this year? I don't know. I look around that locker room, very concerned about camaraderie. We lack leaders. Boy, our quarterback position sucks. You know, the most important position on the field. Our cornerbacks are terrible. We're going to get burned for a lot of yards this year. I hope people show up. I've never heard that from any team in America. Yet a lot of teams in America, that is exactly what's going to be thrown out there. So the optimism's pretty strong. The media did their, predictions for this year's Saints team. And last year, it was just dove into the Kool-Aid pool. One member of the media had the Saints with 9 wins. Every other media member, 10-plus wins. I mean, diving in, mouth open, sucking in the Kool-Aid as much as humanly possible. This year is the compensation year. The local media compensating for their over-optimism from last year. Lots of 9-8 records. It's kind of funny. That is what you should have picked the Saints last year, around 8-9, 9-8, something like that. That's what you should have picked them last year. This year, they're probably going to be a little better than last year. So you probably go a game higher this year, not the opposite, a game lower. So, again, kind of a skewed New Orleans local sports media drinking the Kool-Aid. I've often said this. I mean, I kind of grew up in the days when it was Buddy D, Bob Ressler, Peter Finney, Brian Alley Walsh, Mike Strom, Dave Lagarde, like those types of folks covering the Saints. And LSU, they weren't there to placate or appease. It was first rule, journalism. I'm here to do my job as a sports writer, TV person, whatever. I swear today it is appease the team and the players, befriend the team and the players. You want to be friends with them. 2, don't alienate the fans. We're worried about ratings and selling advertisers. Don't you dare alienate the fans by saying anything negative about the beloved Saints. And 3rd, yeah, that thing everybody was doing first before, that journalism thing. Anyway, I don't know. As I've gotten older, it's like a preseason game. When I was a kid, going into the preseason game, and even in my teens and 20s, the level of excitement was like an 11. And then over time, it got to about a 10, a 9, an 8, a 7, a 6, a 5. And now it's like about a 5. And then when the game kicks off, it still goes a little lower because you're like, the realization, it's a preseason game. We don't even know these guys. They won't make the roster, that kind of thing. Coupled with a sports writer, a television personality, because they love sports and they're sports fans. I've always loved sports. That's why I got into it. How often do you hear, man, I was trained to be a coach. I was analyzing game tape and decided to become a media member. So for a lot of these guys, myself included, we're not trained to break down Saints or LSU Tulane practices and we'll tell you what they were doing and what that's going to translate onto the field. It really is, honestly, like utter nonsense. These NFL teams, these college teams are practicing. You might be able to figure out, like, hey, are they going to be a losing team or a winning team or something like that? But as far as, oh, no, man, I saw in practice where this ain't a 9-3 team. They're a 10-2 team. Come on. We all get to see it. We'll all find out soon enough when the bullets are flying for real for all 3 teams. I will say this, though. Optimism high on the Saints. Optimism very high on not 1 but 2 preseason rated teams. Tulane becoming a legitimate college football team. Maybe a team that's going to be year in, year out in the top 25. It's year 2. Let's see if they can keep it up and establish that. And then LSU trying to get back where they were, to the elite of college football. So, no, exciting season coming up. Fletcher Mackel will join us in 5 minutes to break it down. Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans Inc. in about 20 minutes with a slew of topics. He'll take us to the 5 o'clock hour. And then that 5 o'clock powwow on a Fantasy Friday, Frank Brigtsen talking food with the master. Hey, speaking of food, right in Frank Brigtsen's neighborhood, the Riverbend, the Carrollton section of Uptown, Lebanon's Cafe's open right now. Early dinner, Lebanon's Cafe's open right now. Air-conditioned dining room, comfortable. Get out of the heat. Get it to go order. They'll roll till 9:30 tonight. Shish kebab, lamb chops, all your favorite Middle Eastern sides. Lebanon's Cafe on Carrollton at Jeanette, by the streetcar barn, in between Claiborne's and the Riverbend. Convenient for you Old Jefferson, Old Metairie folks via River Road. Lebanon's Cafe tonight for dinner. Fantasy Friday, Corey Johnson with you.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" He said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
The French bread of the city of New Orleans. Good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. River Cities. Total maintenance keeps you cool, New Orleans. NOLAAC.com is your cool spot. Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen. Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. A Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Fletcher Mackel joins us live. What up, Fletch?
Not a lot, Corey. What's up?
I held back on that intro card that it wasn't me, that they handed me to read.
Okay, well, good. That was just a straight fastball there, so that was good.
Can you believe this crap they hand me sometimes, Fletch? It's just downright rude.
It's pretty crazy stuff.
Do you want to hear this one that they gave me to read?
Not really, but whatever.
He's a real zero, but he's our zero. Fletcher Mackel joins us. What kind of, that's just mean and caustic, I think.
I think you're right.
All right. I'm going to work on those people so they don't do that crap anymore. All right.
Beautiful. Thank you for hooking me up.
All right. Everybody knows why I get Fletch on. I'm going to make it quick because it makes me queasy. Fletch is the man. He's all over the city. He knows New Orleans. He loves the city. It's obvious. He's a good guy. He works hard. You can tell. He's not lazy. He's not winging it. He busts his tail. He's at all the events. Ridiculously knowledgeable, former athlete. He gets it. He's affable. And he has an opinion, and it's usually based off of facts, and it's a pretty good take, even if we often disagree. I should just record that because I don't feel good now. I don't know if I can continue the segment. I feel really sick.
There you go. That was good. Yeah, just cue that up every week.
Oh, boy. Oh, my stomach is turning. Easy, stomach. All right, I'm back. You ready to jump into it?
Sure.
Fletch, you got to admit, I throw stuff at you get nowhere else.
It's true.
Good and bad. We delve deep. All right. Olivia Dunne dates Paul Skeens. That's great. Olivia Dunne is an LSU student, Fletch. Olivia Dunne makes somewhere between $3.5 million to $4 million a year in NIL money, all legal. Because of her online popularity, Olivia Dunne can no longer attend actual classes on campus at LSU and has to attend them online. I don't know about you, but that just seems like something ridiculously wrong with the NIL situation. I love it. That's what it is today. Adapt or die, change, embrace the change or fail. So the NIL is the new deal. But where you have a student athlete where they're supposed to be engaging in the college experience and going to class with students, and Olivia Dunne makes $3.5 million a year being a gymnast at LSU and has to take her classes online. I'm assuming from some multi-million-dollar house like on Highland Road because she can afford it. I'm not saying there's any law being broken, but this doesn't seem to be the way it should be.
Well, let me say this too. Again, it's not that she can't take classes on campus. She chooses not to because people, sure, she has become an internet viral sensation. She is a huge deal on TikTok and Instagram, and yes, which has created a lot of fame for her.
But unlike, say, like a Michael Jordan, and I mean this, she has added security at gymnastics events because she actually needs it. Like there's these loser kids that are going after the internet photos, all kind of stuff. So she kind of legitimately needs security, coupled with the fact she's not 6'6", 220. She's 5'2", 100 pounds. So, but I didn't mean to cut you off, but there's an added security. So maybe you go into class, it's a distraction. Guys are going to come try to sit next to her. They're going to talk to her. Is the teacher going to be able to get something done in the class? I don't know.
Yeah, and listen, that is all like Joe Burrow said that because his last year, I remember Joe Burrow joked and said he didn't know his way around campus because like he shot through the stratosphere as a cult hero in Baton Rouge in 2019 because they were setting records and becoming the greatest college football team.
But also he graduated from Ohio State already. It was post-grad stuff, or maybe that last year was senior year and then post-grad. And, Joe Burrow had already completed, 4 years of college. He's not like a 20-year-old kid. A little different.
Like, oh, she should. And I'm not like, look, I agree. Her safety is important. There's crazy people in this world. And look, I think LSU should be more responsible for that too, is, hey, look, how can we give her a normal experience? But what you just alluded to is her experience will never be normal because of NIL. And what I'm glad now is if she was a superstar because of social media and couldn't make any money off of that and still couldn't experience the college lifestyle.
No, that would be sinful.
Right. But at least now, if she's going to miss out sitting in on biology 101,
right,
at least she's going to have 7 figures in the bank.
No, I'm with you on all that personally. I just mean like sort of college, student athlete, the concept. It's not the pros. I mean, when I was at LSU, took history of film. Harvey Williams was right there. Anthony Johnson was right there from basketball. I mean, it's just, there were players all around in classes I took.
Sure.
I think in the future you could have it where it's almost like Fast Times at Ridgemont High with the Forrest Whitaker character. I thought they just flew him in for games.
Yeah. And look, here's the thing. And look, Baton Rouge is a smaller community. It's a college town. And like I know Paul Skeen said today that if the two of them go out everywhere they go, people want pictures and selfies and autographs because, look, he is, one of the greatest baseball players even after one season. It was the greatest pitching season in LSU history.
Yep.
He's the number 1 pick, and she is a viral sensation. And so what Paul Skeen said today in the interview when he confirmed and acknowledged their relationship is he moves up through the minor leagues, assuming they remain together. Once he gets to the major leagues, I think kind of the breakneck heads turning, and it becomes, like when Verlander is married to Kate Upton, who's a supermodel, or, it's a little bit more like
Wayne Gretzky's daughter. Yeah.
It's not a collegey kind of like hokey world. It's a little bit, not to say that pro fans wouldn't want autographs and stuff, but I think it's a little bit more, it's away from the bubble they're in Pittsburgh and again, a little bit more of a professional atmosphere. So if they stay together when he makes it to the big leagues, I don't think they'll be, quite as the ridiculousness we saw like at the game the other day when people are paying far more attention to her than him when he's pitching.
Who's Verlander married to? The buxom blonde?
Yeah, Kate Upton.
Yeah, Kate Upton. Yeah, I'm forgetting her name already. Her 15 minutes of fame is up. Hey, you ready for rapid fire rules?
Sure.
The Saints-Chargers game, we're kind of used to this. I'm not used to it, but in August, Fletch, Saints-Chargers game, a Saints preseason game, there could be a threat of a hurricane, so nothing really out of the ordinary here, except the games on the road.
It's crazy. I mean, I think they said they haven't had a weather event, like a hurricane hasn't hit LA in like 80 years. The last time they had a serious weather event, like even a tropical storm, was like 97.
Man's not influencing the planet, though. It's like, the snow they had in LA lately. Come on.
Yeah, and so I wouldn't be surprised. I know they have a call, both teams. Look, the Chargers are not exactly at the forefront in LA. I think they'd be lucky if they had 20,000 fans there for a Chargers preseason game. So I would not be surprised, and I don't know what's going to happen, but I would not be surprised if this game got busted tonight. And the Saints got on a plane tomorrow and came home. It wouldn't surprise me.
Well, at least they're getting in work with them, and that's what you do. And you could go to 2 preseason games and even work with another team, and hopefully that's what they do down the road. Hey, Fletch, Saints training camp, just really quick. Nothing really juicy to report, huh? Nothing out of the ordinary, huh?
No, look, Derek Carr looks rock solid. You hope it continues. Look, they're one of those teams that they have talent.
Yep.
Is the talent enough to take them to 11-6, or are they going to have some stumbles and finish 9-8, 8-9, and miss the playoffs. I don't think I look at this team and say, well, oh man, they're a 14-3 team. But I also don't look at them and think, man, oh man, they're 4-13 either. Like, I think that
I'll tell you, the media thing that they just released, you should put the 2023 as the 2022 and the 2022 as the 2023. I think this year may be a little better than last year. But what were you saying about the playoffs?
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Last year, I think a lot of us were duped into thinking Sean Payton got a really hobbled team to 9-8. So a lot of us last year thought, okay, they've got to be at least a game better than that. 10-16's fair. And Jameis was so bad, and they just couldn't. It was just a really bad year.
Yep.
And they obviously, but this year, I think with Carr, I certainly think they're more of like a 10-16. And I said this: if they're not, I think they're back to being in that pre-Katrina stuck in mediocrity. Because if you remember, pre-Katrina, 01, 2, 3, and 4, they were 7-9, 9-7, 8-8, 8-8. And that's where, if they don't win this year, I think they're back to being kind of stuck.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Hey, Fletch, literally like 20 seconds. Had Troy Dannon on the show earlier in the week. Tulane's getting an indoor football practice facility.
I know. We've been hearing about it since last year with Willie Fritz. I think that was one of the big things he wanted. I can't wait to see when they actually start doing it.
Yep.
I know he didn't give a definitive time frame, but it'll be great.
Oh, no, he's acting like they're going to break ground soon. If you listen to the interview, it should be like maybe in the next few weeks, next few months. And they said the construction schedule's quick because it's a bubble-like thing. And you know where it's going. You've probably kicked the soccer ball or played some flag football on that little field in front of the Riley Center.
Yeah, no, I did listen to the interview. I just didn't hear him say. I know he said they want to get it done soon. I just didn't know if they had a definitive time frame on it. But yeah, but the fact that they're going to have it is great. And I know right where it is, and it's definitely needed.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Fletch, always a pleasure.
All right.
That's Fletcher Mackel, Channel 6, WDSU, Channel 6 Sports. Yeah, you right. Corey Johnson with you on a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. We shift gears from Fridays with Fletch to Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans Inc. Yeah, you're right. Don't go anywhere. Michael Hecht's up next.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disks, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today and we'll meet our competitors' prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
For over 20 years, serving healthy, fresh, authentic Middle Eastern cuisine, Lebanon's Cafe. In the Carrollton section of Uptown on the streetcar line, Wednesday through Monday, 11 a.m. to 9:30. Lebanon's Cafe.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane.
tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Yeah, you right, Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. Hey, Latrim, a culture of innovation. They're hiring. East Bank, West Bank, got you covered at their Elmwood facility. North Shore, folks, Latrim has a North Shore I-12 facility. For a full listing of positions available, and it's not 2 or 3 job openings, it's dozens and dozens and dozens of job openings. Go to Latrim.com, Latrim spelled L-A-I-T-R-A-M, Latrim.com. Hey, this segment every Friday with Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans Inc., brought to you by the great folks at Latrim. What's happening, Michael? Happy Friday, bro.
Thank you, JJ. Well, I just made it back in from the lovely Auberge Hotel and Casino in Lake Charles, Louisiana, and it's good to be back. There was a double-wide house being moved on the Atchafalaya that got stuck on the going the other direction. It was backed up for about 7,000 miles.
Wow, what a nightmare.
I just cruised on through Grace Tut.
Yeah, there you go. Nice.
Holy moly.
That's scary. Hey, that L'Auberge in Lake Charles is pretty plush, huh? From what I understand. The one in Baton Rouge is nice, and they say the one in Lake Charles is a level higher, maybe even.
It's pretty nice. You know, they just opened up Johnny Sanchez downstairs. It got kind of a nice lazy pool situation. You know, the whole thing with casinos, though, is they do have that weird kind of combination smell of like stale cigarettes, marijuana, and Yankee Candle store. You know, it's kind of inescapable.
Yeah. I'm like that. What's the little fish that rides on the shark?
Remora.
I'm a remora. I just play the golf courses that they keep up in really good shape.
Yeah,
I spend the casino money and make the golf course, you know, they supplement the golf course. They probably wouldn't be able to be that nice without the casino cash. So
no, you know, I've made a career of being a remora on there with people shark. It's okay, Corey. It's nothing to be ashamed of.
But New Orleans is the town of the remora in all kind of ways.
So listen, I got an important conversation to have with you that I think you might appreciate. I was having drinks the other day with Ghassan Korban, runs through and waterboard.
Yep, we're both Lebanese Syrian. We both get along pretty well. I think he's one of the few positives, legit thumbs up that I can give the mayor.
I agree. He's the real deal. He's the Lebanese MacGyver. So we were talking about Beirut, and we were talking about tabbouleh, and he said something that just resonated with me so strongly. He said, Michael, you know, the problem with the tabbouleh in New Orleans is that it's just not juicy enough. It just doesn't have enough olive oil and lemon juice. Tabbouleh, when you bite into a pita with tabbouleh, it should be like biting into a ripe peach. You know,
I think there's some accuracy to it. You know, he's right. I go to Lebanon's Cafe a lot. Obviously, I go to Kebab House on Vets. The Lebanese lady in the back actually made me kibbeh nay the other night, the raw kibbeh at Kebab House, which was absolutely incredible. When the owner of Kebab House, Mazen's wife, makes the tabbouleh, it's olive oily and lemony and juicy. She knows what she's doing. Sometimes you might get someone else that's still good, but overall, Ghassan's right. Same thing at Lebanon's. Sometimes it's juicy and lemony, and sometimes it's not quite right. My mom's a stickler. She'll be like, they don't have enough wheat in it. There's not enough wheat. I'm like, wow.
Oh, yeah. But I think the worst is that when you get it and it's just all wheat with a few flecks of parsley, you're like, this is like a Whole Foods salad.
No, exactly. No, when it's all wheat, you're right. I'm not at Whole Food and I don't need the trail mix. I'm looking for some Lebanese Syrian food. And no offense to all the other Arab countries. It's all Syrian Lebanese food. All right.
It really is. It really is. And, and the other thing too, and then we can talk about other less important items. I do not want to pay $24 for a plate of hummus with a piece of charred cauliflower and like a lamb knuckle in it.
Well, all these joker places, let's take it up another level. Hummus with fried chicken. It's like they weren't frying chicken and putting it on hummus. Okay. Hey, that meat you're serving wasn't available in the Middle East. No, I don't like all these Middle Eastern food. That's the great part about it. It's simple. It's basic. It's inexpensive. It's very labor intensive to make, but it is wonderful just like that. You don't have to, sauce it up or do.
No, you can't. It's perfection. It's like when Audi had the first TT convertible. Every version after that has been worse. It's been fancier and more lines, but it was perfect. You can't. Some things are as God intended.
Yeah, no, you're right.
A really simple, creamy hummus with tahini, a really juicy tabbouleh.
You got me on cars. It's a 911. Why did Jaguar abandon that wonderful look? You're right, Michael. You're right. All right, you ready to get into some real stuff?
Some other stuff that was real, but
that might be even more interesting than what we generally talk about. Sometimes I get Fletcher on, and just the "what did you eat this week" is more exciting than his sports stuff. Hey, I thought we'd do this to start things off today. What is Greater New Orleans Inc. for folks that might be wondering? And second, who's got the gig in America where it's more like they're just taking orders in, like an old school radio would say, off the fax machine? And then for compared to someone like you that really has to work at it to change the way people think and lure people in. So what is Greater New Orleans Inc. and who's your counterpart that crosses his legs, smokes cigars, and just takes orders because his city, his municipality's on fire in a good way?
Well, so we're the economic development nonprofit nominally, but basically we do two things. We do business development, which is trying to recruit new businesses and help existing businesses grow, including entrepreneurs. The second thing we do, which is actually even more fundamental, is business environment. And that's about creating the policy environment, the workforce environment, the infrastructure environment, the brand, so that it's a place that companies want to invest their capital and people want to raise their families. Because if you have that, then all the business development happens organically. And so the story about this, which is a true story, is many years ago, I was visiting the chairman of the Charlotte Regional Chamber. We were having lunch at the top of, the B of A or the Wachovia building, whatever it is, looking over the wasteland of Charlotte.
Yeah, bank or insurance building.
Yeah, and this gentleman's name is Humpy Wheeler.
Oh, yeah, the old NASCAR guy had Humpy on my program years ago about bringing a track to New Orleans.
Well, this is Humpy Wheeler, same one and the same guy who still drives around Charlotte, has driven around in a gold Rolls Royce, owns NASCAR, did the voiceover for Cars. So we're having lunch together, and in my mind, he was wearing a 10-gallon cowboy hat and had his cowboy boots up on the table as I was eating my tomahawk steak. I don't know if that's exactly accurate, but we definitely had lunch, and I kept using the opportunity to address him by his first name, Humpy. And I said, Humpy, what's it like doing economic development in Charlotte? And Humpy said, Michael, doing economic development in Charlotte's like running a laundromat. We just open our doors and people bring us their money. And I said, that is what it's like to be winning in economic development. And Charlotte is a good example of one of those places. Nashville, Austin, Tampa, Dallas, Atlanta, Houston, Denver. These are the places that their biggest issues are growth issues, congestion, gentrification, being smart about their future. Those are the places.
Yep. Michael Hecht's with us from Greater New Orleans Inc. Yeah, I remember talking to Humpy. He was very gracious, but I was the one going, so Humpy, it's the politics. And well, y'all get a little too much rain and the ground's a little soft. I'm like, geez, and Pete's, man. He just was, and that's why we don't have a NASCAR track. That's why we don't have that Buc-ee's up in Baton Rouge. We kind of, I don't know what it is there. It's maybe like the old Walt Disney story. Wanted to do it in New Orleans, on the North Shore of New Orleans. And then Orlando was another option. Every time I went to Orlando, they said, what do you want? Every time I went to New Orleans, they said, we want this from you. And he thought to himself, this will never change. Now, DeSantis is trying to change it, but for about 50 plus years, Disney had free reign, and he knew New Orleans would be politicians with their hand out continuously.
I remember I was having lunch years ago with Dean, the guy who ran Tidewater. Dean, help me out. Not Dean Smith. Anyway,
going blank.
Of Tidewater.
Yep.
And I said, hey, what's it? And he lived in Houston. And I said, what's the difference between Houston and New Orleans? And we were having lunch at the Bon Ton. And he said, it's pretty simple, Michael. He said, when I have lunch, a business lunch in Houston, we're talking business. When I have a business lunch in New Orleans, I leave feeling like I was lunch. And all right, Dean Taylor, that was his name.
Now, what does that mean exactly?
That he ended up feeling like he'd gotten a chunk taken out of him. Yep. No, I got it. Pound of flesh.
Yeah, I got you. Hang on a second, Michael. We're knocking out a quick break. Coming right back. Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans Inc. is with us. His weekly visit brought to you by Latrim.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here, and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
Young's Dry Cleaning with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
What actually lasts a lifetime? Not much, but at Helm Paint, we have something guaranteed to last a lifetime. Benjamin Moore's Regal Select. This paint and primer in one offers cutting-edge waterborne technology, smooth application, and long durability. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, your New Orleans paint store.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
For over 120 years, New Orleans' very own Leidenheimer French bread.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets has daily lunch specials Monday through Friday, and their entire lunch menu is available too. Open 11 a.m. through 2:30 p.m. For the finest in Sicilian and Italian cuisine, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa, and now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. Michael Hecht with us from Greater New Orleans Inc. Hey, Michael, that Six Flags deal with Bayou Phoenix, it's just kind of funny. It's 2 years later. They can start negotiating a lease, and then the Bayou Phoenix folks said they'll be kicking soccer balls in 4 years. That big Indiana sports complex they built in 18 months. 6 years. I don't even know how much it's going to move the needle in New Orleans East. It's just kind of a bummer.
Yeah, no, it's just there is a different set of expectations that we operate by here sometimes, and it's become stark when you travel to other places and you see what their expectations are. And so, yeah, I'm glad it's going forward. I think it can do great, but boy, oh boy, the fact that it's just like molasses, it's hard to defend.
Yeah. Yep. No, you're right. You're right. Hey, Aldi's buying Winn Dixie out of Jacksonville. I guess some of our local Winn Dixies that are successful as Winn Dixies will remain the same. And I guess maybe ones that aren't operating well, maybe they'll make them an Aldi or something like that.
Yeah. Aldi's a German chain. Well respected, low cost, good quality. I think it's interesting. It brings anytime another national or especially international brand gets brought into the city, or the region, I like it, and that's partially just kind of my biases, but also, anything that puts us, it makes us more cosmopolitan. It's a good thing, and nothing against Winn Dixie, but Winn Dixie is Winn Parish, and all these is, I don't know, Hamburg or something. So no, I like it.
Hey, Michael, I got a super curveball for you. I don't want to get into that harbor project in Mandeville that they're having trouble doing or not, I hope they work it out. It'd be good for the economy, but also you want to preserve the lakefront. That's their deal. They'll figure it out. That's Mandeville and the North Shore's deal. It just got me thinking about that failed Slidell casino project. You remember? And I was just thinking, like, and we may have discussed this before. What about just moving that failed casino project 5 miles across the Twin Span and in the Irish Bayou area of Orleans Parish, out by that castle, have that as that casino area with the marina and the amphitheater and all of that stuff and the apartments. And one person would be like, dude, one's in Slidell, one's in New Orleans. They're right on the lakefront. They're 5 miles away. One would be 30 miles from the Superdome in the French Quarter. The other one would be 25 miles from the Superdome in French Quarter. So they're almost in the same spot. I don't know what's up with the license. I'd like to see a $250 million casino investment at Irish Bayou and I-10 Highway 11 by that BP station and whatever that is out there.
And you definitely would have to incorporate the Fisherman's Castle. I mean, that thing is iconic. That would be like the main entrance, right? Or that could be like the wedding suite, with the mirrored ceiling and the rotating bed up in the turret. The Rapunzel suite.
Michael,
Corey, let down your hair.
I know exactly who I am. And I know some folks that like to play, Pollyanna and all that thing. Corey can be cynical or jaded or negative. Corey knows the city, and Corey thinks of creative ideas how to turn lemonade out of lemons. And the casino fails in Slidell, just goes away. Hey, guys, move it 5 miles south and you put it in New Orleans East. Everyone wins, but not a lot of traction on Corey's ideas.
I'm going to send you, Corey. There was a really beautiful piece in Curbed in the Atlantic on the story of Dan Doctoroff, who was kind of my Uber mensch in New York City post 9/11. He has ALS now, unfortunately, but it talks about his imagination and about Bloomberg's imagination and what they got done in just 6 years. And the time that it's going to take us to get a soccer field built in New Orleans East, they entirely reimagined post 9/11 New York City. I'm going to send this link to you. It's just talk about it's inspiring and sobering.
No, I always talk about reimagining Bourbon Street. It doesn't have to be a dump. We can reimagine it. Jazz clubs and restaurants and lit up and complement Royal Street. Royal Street merchants don't have to put fencing over doors and windows to avoid the drunks. Get a whole different element in there instead of $18 a head, maybe $180 or $1,800 a head, and just walking around with a daiquiri doing nothing, whatever. Hey, I had on Ed Michel, the OIG. He did a nice efficiency report on how the NOPD in the city recruits cops. Really well done, and complimented them on what some of the changes they made, gave suggestions. They were receptive. NOPD recruiting and retention dashboard. Tell us about it.
Well, we're trying to shed some sunlight onto this most fundamental issue, as well as support things that we need to improve it, like pay raises and new equipment and better working conditions. And Corey, it kind of seems to be working. Last year, we net lost 119 officers, a huge loss. This year, projections are that we'll probably just about break even or even gain a few.
Wow.
So, it's not what we need to get to, but it is a very real turnaround, it looks like. The crime stuff, the murder stuff may be just organic, but the recruiting improvement is substantial.
Yep.
And so, I think that's right. There's still a long way to go, but you want to recognize that it appears that we might have bottomed out and are turning it around. And the NOLA Coalition, the NOPD, NOPJF, a lot of people should get credit for that.
Yep. Yeah. When we're getting more recruits, the number is a net gain, not a net loss every year. That's a plus. Hey, real quick, Michael, about 20 seconds. Research and Retain, LED, a new program focusing on startups.
Yeah. So this is one where startups can now get a $100,000 matching grant if they've been part of the federal Small Business Innovation Research and Technology Transfer grants. And people who get them will know what they are. Now the state's basically doubling down on that. which is good, which is what it should be doing. Hey, Persona speakers, they got $100,000 from the state.
Yep.
About 30 years ago, just sold a Fender for $100 million.
Wow. Michael Hecht, have a great weekend, brother. See you next Friday.
Thanks, KJ. You too, brother. Bye-bye.
That's Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans. Hey, stick around.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson. On TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube. On radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers, Breitling time, 5 p.m.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, insagency.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamarck team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamarck Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Here's New Orleans native son, Corey Johnson.
New Orleans City Councilman Freddie King joins us.
So I want to first say thanks for having me. And believe it or not, man, I used to listen to your show all the time driving home. So it's an honor to be on.
Freddie, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. It's an honor to have you on the program. Thanks.
The official afternoon talk show of the city of New Orleans. It's Corey Johnson on the neutral ground, where New Orleans is heard.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us steer you right. Helm Paint and Supply. Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process, of a custom made piece. I have a test that says if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Hey, anyone know where that rib joint is that Fred Flintstone frequents? I want a rack of ribs that they place on the little side tray at the drive-in. And the rack of ribs is so damn big, it knocks my car on its side. Where is that rib establishment? Yeah, you, right. Thank you, Mr. Drew Brees. Number 9. Thank you for that. Corey Johnson back at you. A Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Fantasy Friday. Did I say Friday? The weekend's upon us? Yeah, you're right. 98 degrees. 44% humidity. Feels like 103 to 110. That temperature reading brought to you by River City's Total Maintenance. Find them at NOLAAC.com if you need air conditioning help. NOLAAC.com. Hey, tomorrow we start off in the low to mid 80s. 99's the high on Saturday. Sunday, the high is 98. Ouch. Get a little break for a few days where when I say break, we fall back to our normal summer routine. Next Wednesday through the weekend, highs around 100 again. Now, what's the normal routine? Let's take yesterday, for example. It was 96, felt like 99. 2 days earlier on Tuesday, it was 100, and it felt like 118. So 4 degrees hotter on the thermometer was 21 degrees hotter feels like on that particular day. So it's sort of like going fast in a car. Going from 40 to 50, that 10-mile-an-hour increase, a 10-mile-an-hour increase going from like 120 to 130 is much more severe than from 20 to 30. 120 to 130, much more extreme. As you go faster and faster and faster, it gets crazier and crazier and crazier. As you get just a little bit hotter from low to mid 90s to high 90s as a temperature, the feels like skyrockets. So we're talking about, forget about it's 99 degrees instead of 93. Instead of feeling like 99, it feels like 119. It's like a 18, 20 degree feels like difference in temperature. And that is the big problem the last few days. Hottest summer I can recall in my life as a New Orleanian over 5 decades. Driest summer that I can recall in my life over 5 decades in New Orleans. Crazy. You've got the Saints and Chargers playing in Los Angeles. There's a threat to the game because of a hurricane over there. Snow in Los Angeles, first time in decades. I mean, I don't know. People that don't think man can influence the planet are delusional. Louisianians know. Around the country, the loony left, they're not very much into like drilling and stuff like that. The left in Louisiana, we're pro-drilling Conservatives around the country, they don't really believe that man can influence the planet. Conservatives in Louisiana, we know that man can influence the planet. We see chunks of Louisiana floating out into the Gulf. So we kind of live in a reality, hands-on, not this from afar political stance that's easy to take when things don't affect you that directly. So no, we know the score. We know what's going on in Louisiana. And anyone who thinks man can influence the planet needs to come to Louisiana. Levee construction, oil and gas canals. That's man influencing the planet. Now, here's the deal. This worry of, man, we're ruining the planet, we're wrecking the planet, that's sort of the wrong approach. We could launch 1,000 nuclear bombs and kill every human being on the planet, and the planet will be here next year in 1,000,000 years, just rolling along. What we're doing is we're ruining the planet for us. We're making it harder for humans to live on the planet in a nice, easy way. That's the real deal on all of this. No, sometimes people argue these different points, and it's like neither one is what we're talking about. We're talking about this. Let's focus on the point. Hey, speaking of the point that is most important this afternoon, this is key. It's a little bit after 5 p.m. on a Friday. That means 100% of the work week in the books. Pretty much most of you are done with work for the week. And what's great about right now, this very moment, the entire weekend is in front of us still. It's a little limbo period. I like putting a spotlight on it. I like smelling the roses. We do it by blowing the 5 o'clock whistle. We do it by blowing the 5 o'clock whistle. We often overlook this very time. I like recognizing it. Yes, the work week's done. The weekend, the entire thing is in front of us. Yeah, you're right. Hey, the 5 o'clock whistle, by the way, appropriately brought to you by Katie's in Mid-City. Why aren't you at Katie's right now? It is the perfect wind down after work spot. The quintessential New Orleans neighborhood restaurant. Folks that actually live in the neighborhood call it their neighborhood restaurant. Folks that don't live in the neighborhood and come over to Katie's call it their New Orleans neighborhood restaurant. A true taste of the city. Big portions, great for sharing. New Orleans specialties, old school. A Mid-City mainstay. 5 o'clock whistle this afternoon. As always, brought to you by Katie's in Mid-City. That's right. Hey, speaking of good food, coming up in about 7 minutes, Frank Brigtsen will join us from the Riverbend. We do it every Friday around 5:20. We head to the Carrollton section of Uptown, my neighborhood, my neck of the woods, and go to Dante Street right off Leak Avenue, River Road, and visit with Frank Brigtsen. About 100-year-old Creole cottage. They've been at it for nearly 40 years. If you haven't experienced Brigtsen's, you are making a mistake. One of the finest restaurants in the city, cooking up some great New Orleans food that you will absolutely love. That phone number at Brigtsen's is 861-7610. You never know. They might have an opening tonight or tomorrow night. We'll find out for sure from Frank in a few minutes. Get a jump start. Call his wife right now, Marna. She's probably manning the phones. 861-7610. Dinner tonight at Brigtsen's. My God, is that a plus? 861-7610. Brigtsen's. Frank Brigtsen will join us in a few minutes. Donald Trump will skip next Wednesday's Republican debate on Fox. Donald Trump will skip next Wednesday night's Republican debate on Fox. That's pretty interesting. Donald Trump has like a 30-something point lead over Ron DeSantis. Like, Donald Trump has 53%. Chris Christie has 3%. So Donald Trump leads Chris Christie by 50 points. It's like, why am I going to the debate again with Chris Christie just so Chris Christie can go off on me like I go off on other people? Why do I want to go tolerate what I throw at other people when I'm leading this guy by 50 points? Someone said something about Chris Christie to Trump the other day, and Trump, with just his expressionless face, said, yeah, I think he's eating right now. And it was actually funny. I mean, I had to laugh. It was actually kind of a good zinger. Now, I know some Trump folks, I mean, Trump could say McDonald's and you'll laugh, because Trump said it. But some legitimate question about Christie and policy, and he just kind of, with that Trump face, I think he's eating right now. It's like, wow. Hey, speaking of eating, they opened their doors 15 minutes ago. Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets. So good. So easy, too. Pull right in front. Parking's right there. Walk 20 feet. Cool, comfortable dining room. Great service. Sit at the bar if you like. Dine there. It truly is some of the city's best Sicilian and Italian. You won't be disappointed. They're open till 10 p.m. tonight. Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets. No, I love Fausto's. And Fausto and Roland, the brothers. Irene is their sister from Irene's Restaurant in the Quarter. They really are like the first family of Italian cooking. Hey, Kevin in Texas, what's on your mind this afternoon?
Hey, what's up, Corey?
How you doing, Kevin?
Hey, good. I was trying to tell you about that Bayou Phoenix, man, a while back. That stuff is fraud. I see they approved the master plan. Now they talking about they need $100 million from the public. I told you that stuff is fraud, man.
Hey, Kevin, I'm going to pick it up right on the other side of the break. You might be on to something. Stick around. There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet. Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line. Lebanon's Cafe.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Served in New Orleans' finest restaurants. Leidenheimer French bread.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love. More. When you do something, you have to do it right. It's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSAgency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSAgency.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store, and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" He said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Yeah, you right, Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. Hey, Kevin in Texas, I apologize. We were running up against that break. I would have given you some more time. But one thing I know about you, you're always to the point. And your point and question, comment, all valid. Bayou Phoenix, the Six Flags site. I don't even blame Troy Henry. I blame the city. Horrible marketing. Didn't push it around the country, this I-10, I-5-10 site. Go to Bass Pro Shops, Cabela's, Buc-ee's, Flying J Truck Stop, these national entities that work on interstates. At least approach them. Not to say it's available, y'all, and like New Orleans knows. When Drew Brees and Demario Davis are the runner-ups for the project, you know it was poorly, done. So Bayou Phoenix, Troy Henry win it. And they know how to play the New Orleans game. At first it was, we need $1 million to clean up the site, and we're ready to move forward. And now it's $15 million. And now it's, we need $100 million in public money. You get Bass Pro Shops, Cabela's, they're putting shovels in the ground, they're driving pilings. In 18 months, you're going in there and buying a fishing rod. You get Buc-ee's, pilings driven, they open up in 18 months. You get local folks, I need this, I need that, and it's going to just be a big wing job. Troy Henry said in 4 years they'll have some soccer fields ready to go. And then hopefully there'll be something else he can get, and then be able to get maybe another investor, maybe get these folks to come, and then maybe a hotel, or that. It's just kind of a wing job. It's throwing it out there, seeing what sticks. It's New Orleans, got time to do it, and it's a shame. And no one in New Orleans East is going to win. It's not going to be a game changer for New Orleans East. It is a big waste of time, discussion, and it's sad. And Kevin in Texas, you're pretty much right on the money on it. It's sad. It's 2 years in already since Bayou Phoenix has been awarded. 2 years. Troy Henry says 4 years till soccer, kids will be playing on the first phase, just the sports fields. That's 6 years later. Go look up this thing in Indianapolis, in Indiana. It's a sports complex where folks come from all around the country. They built it in 18 months. No, it's just broken New Orleans. All right, it's a Friday. I want to get off the negative. I'm shifting gears to the super positive. This guy's all positive, hyper talent, great New Orleanian, James Beard award-winning chef, but he's humble like he's been in the business 6 months, not nearly 50 years. Frank Brigtsen joins us again from his restaurant in the Riverbend. What's happening, Frank?
Where you at, KJ? TGIF.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry, Frank. 50 years in the biz, maybe longer.
It's true. 50 years I've been doing this, and I love it every minute of it.
Considering we have to consume food to live, what a great profession. I mean, we don't just eat to live, Frank. We live to eat down here, as everyone knows.
Of course. And especially, to be a chef in New Orleans, it's just such an honor. It's when I put on my white chef's coat, I'm putting on 200 years of culinary history. And just to be part of that continuum is an honor in itself.
Yep. No, it's a special food place in the entire world, and everybody knows it.
Yeah, it's America's most interesting food city. Our regional cuisine, Cajun, Creole, and everything that implies, there's nothing like it in America.
What are the food cities of the world? It's like New Orleans, New York, San Fran, Paris, Barcelona,
Bangkok.
Bangkok.
You know?
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's, towns in China that I can't pronounce.
Yep.
Northern China, the food is fantastic. But, what ties all that together is regional cuisine. People eat what's there.
Yep.
And they develop a cuisine around what's available. And that's exactly what happened here. The good thing about what happened here is we have the mighty Mississippi River pushing fresh water into the salty Gulf of Mexico, creating an estuary unlike any in the world. And so for a chef, that gives us so many colors on our palette. When we paint a picture, we can have any color we want. There's always something in season.
Salt water, fresh water, brackish water. One could argue we have the greatest seafood bounty in the world. I mean, what's comparable somewhere like in Italy or, France somewhere? Where is there any place, or like you said, in Asia somewhere?
Maybe in Asia. I don't know any other place that has the diversity of seafood that we have. Not only is there always something in season, but the diversity, just in finfish alone, not to mention crabs, oysters, shrimp, and crawfish. It's a bounty, and it's something that we can enjoy year-round, and it changes year-round.
Coupled with the fact we're a French colony, not a British colony. We'd be eating boiled beef and potatoes. The French, the Spanish, black, white, Italian. You get into Irish and German, and then the modern era of like all these Latinos from Honduras and then Vietnamese, and just the melting pot of cultures over 300 plus years, the location of where we are, the seafood bounty, the two growing seasons. We're like a food mecca.
It is. It's marvelous. And continues to develop and evolve and change as the demographics change in the city, more immigrants coming from here and there. And I really embrace that diversity. I think it makes life more interesting and more fun, whether it's the people themselves or the foods we eat.
You live it, Frank. You go to the East for vegetables. You go to the West Bank for seafood. You go to the North Shore for fruits. It's like, you're all over the metro area for what the best stuff is.
That's true. In our business, there's a couple of ways to do things. You can just order everything from a big wholesaler and you make one phone call, but your food's going to be boring. And for me, it's all about the relationships that we build with our seafood suppliers, whether it's an individual or a wholesale company. Same with produce, a wholesaler, and individual farmers. It's the people part of this whole equation that is really the most fulfilling. And that goes from suppliers to staff to diners and guests. That's the joy of it to me.
Well, it's two things, too. You said you could just order it off the truck. And then it's more than that, because you're doing not only the opposite, you're going to multiple places. You're doing that thing you taught me. I would be like, man, I want a New York strip tonight. I want a ribeye. So I go to Rouse's or wherever, and I go look in the case, and I want a New York strip. And I'm like, boy, the ribeyes look better. And then but I was in the mood for New York strip, so I'm getting the New York strip. And then you were talking about this BA attitude, best available, where you let the seafood purveyor dictate to you what you're going to cook, what's the best available, what's the freshest. So now when I'm like New York strip, I want a New York strip, and I go and I look, and it could be skirt steak that looks better, and I'm getting that. I'm getting the BA, the best steak available. Same with seafood. I may be jonesing for speckled trout, but if the shrimp or they have soft shell crab, or I might go in that direction. So that philosophy you have of BA, it takes it beyond the not just going with some food truck delivering their stuff exclusively. You're not only going to multiple places, you're picking they're telling you what's on your menu.
Exactly. I mean, you can't get locked into a box. You can't say, I have to have this because it's on my menu. We just reprint the menu. I mean, that's all there is to it, and you have to do that. I went to the grocery the other day for home, and just looking around the meat department, and I was thinking New York strips. And I went over there, and they looked pretty good. And then just under them was something they called chuck steaks. And it's little rounds, medallions cut from a chuck roast. Now the two strips was $19 and something.
And those little imitation filet mignon things were like $6.99 a pound.
Dude, $3.99 for 4 of them.
That's a joke.
Okay, I'll try it.
Now, how did you cook something like that? Because you can't just salt, pepper, throw it on the grill and flip it like a steak, right?
No, but that's what I did because I never really ate it like that before. So Marna cooked them just like a steak in a cast iron skillet. And it was okay. A lot of it was too tough. But now I have an idea for stir fries.
Wow.
I could stir fry with vegetables or fried rice with this beef cut into a julienne. $3.99.
Yep.
And get 2 hearty meals out of it.
And maybe a lot more flavor than a $30 a pound filet.
Yeah, maybe so. 50 years in business, I'm still learning.
No, that's funny.
You have to keep an open mind, and try new things. That's really the joy of it.
Yeah. I know the exact cut you're thinking of because I look, I'm like, it looks like a damn filet. But I'm like,
yeah,
it's 10% of the price, so it's got to be tougher. There's got to be a way. Maybe like a crock pot type gimmick or something like that.
Yeah, you could braise them. You could braise them and make a natural gravy and cook them in the oven till they fall apart.
Yep.
Be delicious over some rice. So there's a new product in my repertoire.
Hey, any openings tonight or tomorrow night at Brigtsen's?
I think tomorrow night there may be a table available on the second seating, 738. Marna's on the phone tonight. Give her a call. And if we can get you in, we'll get you in. We don't like to say no. We want you to have a great experience with us.
Yep. 861-7610 is the number at Brigtsen's, 861-7610. What are you guys serving tonight, Frank?
Well, this week I tried something new that's actually kind of old. You and I talk about our trout meuniere a lot, pan-fried trout or flounder with roasted pecans and meuniere sauce.
Yep.
And I'm not able to get either of those fish right now, trout or flounder. And that's the only two I like for that preparation. So meuniere is a big part of Brigtsen's appeal. People love that dish. So what is available is red snapper. So we're doing a pan-roasted red snapper, skin-on fillet. We flour just the skin side, the bottom side, sear it in a skillet in clarified butter so it gets crispy on the bottom. And then we finish it in a 500-degree oven for about 7 or 8 minutes. Then, when the fish comes out, we take the snapper and put it on your serving plate. And in that same skillet, we make French meuniere, brown butter meuniere, amandine, pan-roasted red snapper amandine with brown butter meuniere. And it is classic French Creole. Old school is still a good school. People are loving it.
Can you eat the skin or you just scoop it out?
Oh, yeah. No, the skin comes out crispy.
You want to eat the skin, so you want to eat the entire thing. Wow.
Yes. The skin is crispy. You cut into the fish and you hit the skin at the bottom and you can hear it crunch.
Wow.
Delicious.
Nice. So you kept the meuniere, but slightly different version and with the old school amandine, not the pecans.
Exactly. And we're loving it.
No, red snapper is incredible. I mean, red snapper, flounder, speckled trout. I don't know. Those are hard fish to beat.
Yeah, I agree. And you got to go with the best available, and that's what I'm doing.
Yep. What else? What else is cooking, Frank?
We have our culinary menu, which runs through the end of August. So you got about 2 weeks left on that.
3 courses for $50.
3 courses, $50, and you get choices in each course. The first course is a choice of curried shrimp bisque, which is really delightful and unusual, or a watermelon salad with balsamic vinaigrette, pickled yellow onions, pistachios, and feta cheese. We're featuring watermelon in a couple of different salads right now. Absolutely delicious and refreshing.
Yep.
And then the main course is you have a choice of a pan-roasted chicken breast, airline chicken breast, organic natural chicken with New Orleans red gravy and fontina cheese grits. Or the fish option is grilled redfish with our smoked corn sauce and a chipotle black bean salsa.
Yeah, and let me stress to folks, when you go to Brigtsen's and you get like a steak, the filet there with that incredible sauce, it's an Angus filet. It's wonderful. You're not settling. It's not like somebody might want a steak. We better put a steak on the menu. It's as good as anything there. Frank mentioning that chicken breast dish. It's not some white chicken breast just sitting there lame on the plate. It's the airline chicken breast, as he mentioned. The drumette is connected to the breast. That means the skin is connected to that boneless breast. So, I mean, I don't know, Frank, a boneless breast by itself on a 1 to 10 scale is about a 4. With the skin on, it doubles. It's about an 8. I'm serious. I mean, it's all the flavor and the fat. I mean, it's like Chinese crawfish, the boneless breast, the Louisiana crawfish with the skin on. I mean, it's fat and flavor, you know?
Right. And this is the best chicken you can buy, literally. Bell & Evans brand, all natural, organic.
Yep.
And we cook it to order. We sear the skin side in a skillet, just like we do the snapper. Sear that skin side, flip it, and finish it in a 500-degree oven for about 10 minutes. It comes out so tender, moist, and juicy. And with this red gravy, of course, how could you beat that? And these stone ground grits from the Papa Tom's folks in Baton Rouge, with a little fontina cheese folded in at the end.
You know what I like about that Bell & Evans chicken also? It's the perfect size chicken breast. Like, Frank, I'm telling you, today, these chicken breasts that are like 2 or 3 inches thick, I don't want to eat that chicken breast.
No.
I do not want to eat that.
That's the most boring piece of protein in the market.
God, and I'm looking at this thing like it's 2 or 3 inches thick. I'm like, was it 20-pound chicken? You know? So the Bell & Evans, just the chicken breast is the perfect size. It's not too small. It's not that ridiculously large one. So I think they're perfect. And like you said, no hormones. They're air chilled. They're not dropped in some chlorine rinse. So it's a really, it's a superior piece of chicken, and you can tell by eating it.
Absolutely. Happy chickens make happy guests.
That's why I put a smiley face on my golf ball. I'm trying to put a positive vibe out there, man. That game can be hard. Hey,
so when somebody finds it in the weeds, they smile, huh?
Well, it's funny. A buddy of mine, 2 weeks later at City Park, he snaps a photo of one of my balls with the smiley face I lost 2 weeks earlier. He's like, gotta be yours. I'm like, that's mine, dude. That's my smiley. Hey, Frank, any final thoughts until next week?
Have a lovely weekend, folks. We're praying for a little rain on Monday, and I think we might get a little break there.
Yeah,
so
we
enjoy that while you can. Stay cool. Stay in the AC. Take a dip when you can.
Frank, always a pleasure. Love having you on the show.
Same here, Corey. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend.
861-7610. That's the number at Brigtsen's. Frank said they might have an opening tomorrow night. 861-7610. 861-7610. Brigtsen's in the Riverbend. You won't be disappointed. Brigtsen's is so damn good. And it's not like I don't know. I'm just telling you, it's moderately priced. Like every appetizer should probably be about $2, $3, $4 more. All the entrees could be anywhere from like $6, $8 more, $10 more. No, it's nice. Everything about it is nice. And the food is fantastic. Corey Johnson with you on a Fantasy Friday, 98 degrees, 44% humidity. Feels like anywhere from like 103 to 110. Tomorrow, the high is 99. Sunday, the high is 98. Monday and Tuesday, we're supposed to go back to what we had the last few days, sort of regular temperatures, our regular hot, oppressive summer, not this ridiculously over-the-top heat. But by Wednesday of this week, going right back to it, Wednesday through the weekend, highs around 100 each day. The hottest summer I've ever experienced in my 50-plus years in New Orleans, the driest summer I've ever experienced in my 50-plus years in New Orleans. It's weird. The Saints are playing the Chargers in a preseason game on Sunday. There's a hurricane warning in Los Angeles. Snow earlier this year. I mean, to not think man is influencing the planet, this is just regular stuff, how quickly and dramatically it's happened. And when you look at the entirety of the planet, this is happening fast and quick. Of course, man can influence the planet. We got to do a better job. I'm not going off on some hyper, woke, lunatic liberal tangent, but to just be in full-blown denial about it is the opposite. Hey, Young's Dry Cleaning. I love these guys. I've been with them for 25 plus years, I bet. I mean, I've been talking about Young's for 25 years. I'm not kidding you. Since the late 1990s. I don't know if there is a talk radio personality in the United States of America that does live personal endorsements and has been talking about the same company for 25 years. Talk about loyalty, talk about great results, you folks reacting and going to Young's. No, they're the biggest in the region because they've always been the best. I'm just helping to perpetuate that message because it's true. I like going with winners. You hear the folks I talk about, my advertisers, my clients. I'm fortunate on this show. It works great for everybody. I win, they win, you win. It's the best available in the city. And I know a little bit about the city, what's out there, the competition, and what's the best. If you're tired of your dry cleaner, get rid of them. You want to experience the best? Young's Dry Cleaning, a New Orleans institution since 1940. Go online to find out more. youngsdrycleaning.com. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
You're listening to The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson.
Cotton Bowl winning coach Willie Fritz joining us on the program. Have you ever been part of a game that great?
A lot of things happen in the game. You just don't know the script. You got to adapt and improvise. You just got to keep playing hard the whole time, and our guys did an excellent job of that.
How big is yesterday for the overall future of the program?
You got to have a guy who really have a burning desire to get quality education and also be a great football player. You got to have focus.
You've always have embraced New Orleans. You've been a great ambassador for the city, for Tulane University.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. My wife and I just love it here in New Orleans. And just everybody, the city's just sensational. It's just a dime for a person who came up to me after the game. I had tickets in the old Tulane Stadium. And, I've heard that a ton of times. And letting you know, that's good that we're able to make some people happy.
That's Willie Fritz joining us.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Roll wave.
The spirit of New Orleans. It's Corey Johnson on The Neutral Ground.
Hey guys, it's Frank Smith from LasVegasGambling.com with your weekend 5-star lock of the week. Lock of the week. Lock of the week. Take the Lakers and the points over the Clippers. Sell the house, sell the boat, sell your children. Send grandma away and take the money. Put everything you've got on this 5-star selection. It's the Lakers over the Clippers. And we've also got a fantastic 5-star parlay as well. Call us now, 888-555-7777. It's Frank Smith, a.k.a. The Hammer, from LasVegasGambling.com. Do it now, now, now.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
I don't think it's Snooks Eaglin. I think it's Gatemouth Brown. Gatemouth Brown? Wow, I'm on fire. Yeah, you right. Corey Johnson back at you on a Friday. I said 98, feels like 103. It went up since we've been on at 4 o'clock, almost 6 o'clock, 5:47 p.m. It's 99 degrees, even 100 in some parts of New Orleans. Feels like 108, 110. Crazy, crazy, crazy heat out there in Metro New Orleans. And it's going to continue all into next week. Might get a little reprieve on Monday, maybe a little on Tuesday. And when I say reprieve, like 94, 95, 96 degrees instead of 97, 98, 99. So this hottest summer on record, July, the hottest July on record in the world, hottest July on record in the United States, hottest July on record in Louisiana, hottest July on record in New Orleans. It continues. And one of the driest periods in New Orleans history, I would think, right now. Major drought conditions coupled with the heat. It's brutal. No, like I got to run the sprinkler on like landscaping at my house where normally I don't. Just grows by itself. There's enough rain to keep it going. And then You got landscaping. It's not growing as fast as it normally would because you're not staying on top of the watering. Crazy. One thing about this heat and lack of rain, you can knock out those paint projects inside or outside your house. The place to go to get those paints, it's a no-brainer. Helm Paint and Decorating for over half a century. Native New Orleanians like you and me that own it, that operate the place, that work there, that take care of you. When you got to paint in Metro New Orleans, do it once, do it right. You go to Helm, they'll steer you in the right direction. 7 locations, East Bank, West Bank, North Shore, plus free 2-hour delivery. Pick your colors online, call a Helm location. They'll bring it right to you. Helm Paint and Decorating when it's time to paint. When it's time to paint. 5 o'clock power hour on a Fantasy Friday. Yeah, you're right. If you missed the 4 o'clock hour, Fletcher Mackel joined us. Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans Inc. also. Just a few minutes ago, Frank Brigtsen, James Beard award-winning chef, talking food with Frank just a few minutes ago. Donald Trump will skip next Wednesday night's Republican debate on Fox. He's like 40 points ahead of DeSantis. He's like 50 points ahead of Chris Christie. I think Donald Trump should go to the debate, but why should he go to the debate? What's the point of someone? Seriously, Chris Christie desperately wants to debate Donald Trump, and I get it. Donald Trump's at 53%. Chris Christie's at 3%. Donald Trump can only go down, and Chris Christie can only go up. So I'd like to see the debate, but I understand why Donald Trump is not going to show up for that Wednesday debate, even on Fox next week. Like, what's the point? What's the point? Fantasy Friday edition of the program. I don't know. I'm getting excited about Sunday programming coming back on. It's the final season of Billions, which out the gate was a fantastic show for the first few years. Since the redhead guy from Band of Brothers, great actor, I forget his name, his wife passed away, British actor, does a great job. Since he left, the program has gone, from on a 1 to 10 scale, like an 8 or a 9 to about a 5. Like, if you're a fan, I guess you watch it, but you're disappointed. And I wouldn't continue watching it if this were happening for seasons in the future. But the redhead guy, Axe, the main, antagonist on the show, is back, at least partially. So that might help. And it's the final season, so I'll watch that a little bit. But what I really like watching, and I highly recommend, it is thoroughly entertaining. And maybe you can get jump started. I think it's only like an 8-episode season. Go watch this Lakers Dynasty show with John C. Reilly as Jerry Buss, the old Lakers owner. It's the rise of the Lakers Dynasty. It's on HBO, I believe. And it's an hour long. So, yeah, you'd have to do some catching up. Season 2 just started. The Jerry West character is hysterical. Hysterical. And it is just funny. It takes you back to late 70s, early 80s Los Angeles. It's well done. So it's, got that authenticness to it. It's well written. The scripts are great. The acting is fantastic. No, it's funny. It's serious. It's based off of reality. I'd say it's about 80 plus, 90 plus % true. This ain't the JFK Oliver North movie, or series where, it's just make-believe in 50%. This is really good and entertaining. I highly recommend it. My television recommendations brought to you by... Hey, are you on the Causeway right now? Trey Yen, ready to receive your to-go order. Curbside delivery. You pull right in front. They walk it right out to your door. Don't forget the Tung Cho sauce. You fire in a big to-go order at Trey Yen. Or, better yet, dine at Trey Yen tonight. You North Shore folks, you know where they are, the foot of the Causeway, right there in Mandeville. Convenient for you North Shore folks. South Shore folks, 25 minutes from Lakeside Shopping Center, not 35 or 40 or 45. And Corey's exaggerating to get me to go. 25 minutes from Lakeside Shopping Center to the parking lot at Trey Yen, door to door. Plus, you're on the causeway, put it on cruise control, 65, 66, 67 miles an hour. You got friends and family in the car. That 22-minute ride across the bridge, boom, just like that. And there's no driving on the North Shore. You cross the bridge, immediately to your left, Chinese cuisine heaven. Tonight or over the weekend, make it Trey Yen in Mandeville.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
My Sittu, that's Arabic for grandmother, used to make the best football kibbe. You can experience kibbe just like my grandmother used to make, and so many other Middle Eastern favorites on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Since 1896, a true taste of New Orleans, Leidenheimer French bread. Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right, Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore led us to you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Hi, everyone. It's Tommy Wrong for AsbestosMoneyGrab.com. This is not, I repeat, not for folks with real asbestos problems. But if you're like me and were maybe taking a shop class in high school where you maybe breathed in some brake dust and you know for certain you're fine, but you're the type of person that takes advantage of these types of situations, get tested, lawyer up, and steal some money like me. Go to I'm not really hurt at all, but like exploiting the system for free cash.com.
It's the weekend. Did you make your Rouse's Markets run yet? There's a Rouse's in your neighborhood or next to your neighborhood. And talk about convenience. Every single Rouse's, 60-plus stores. The latest they open, 7 a.m. Some open at 6:30. The earliest any of the 60-plus Rouse's Markets close, 10 p.m. at night. Convenience for you. Some are open till 11, even midnight. Best quality, best price, best selection. convenience, tastes like home, Rouse's Markets. Corey Johnson with you on a Friday. We started the show like we do every weekday afternoon at 4. It was 98. It's now 99 and 100. The temperature went up a degree or two after 4 p.m. You think it kind of peaks out 4:15, 4:30, and then we start getting a reprieve. Temperature still climbing right now as we speak, approaching 6 o'clock on a Friday in New Orleans. No, it's oppressive. Take care of yourself, folks that are, vulnerable, and also take care of these guys. Yeah, animals. Make sure they've got fresh water, shade for your outdoor cats and outdoor dogs. There's no such thing. There's no such thing. So bring the dogs inside the AC. Stay hydrated. Have a great weekend. Go Saints on Sunday, hopefully. See you Monday.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers, Breitling time, 6 p.m.